Hello, YouTube. Welcome and welcome back to Your Mind is Your Crown on YouTube. Profitable, productive, prosperous, faith-filled thoughts that get you to your goals and accomplish the will of God. Now, I think today will be one of my favorite videos. It's a doozy. I like doozies. I'm going to talk about how we know that there is a God. And hopefully we will be mutually encouraged by each other's faith, and we can be more confident in the reality that is Christ. So starting, the scriptures say this, and I think it's evident that this is the way that you do approach the reality of God. He who comes to God must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of those who diligently, earnestly, and wholeheartedly seek him. That's the amplified version right there. That's the amplified version. But yes, so you got to believe or think or rationalize in your mind that the reality of there being a God, that it could be true. You may approach it as, from what we understand, as an agnostic approach. I think that's an honest approach. Agnostic means you don't know whether there is a God, and you don't know whether there isn't a God, because you deem that there's not sufficient evidence to justify the claim either way. Now, I think that's initially honest. I think that's having intellectual integrity to some degree, because if you don't know, you're not saying that there isn't a God, right? Are you with me so far? Yes, class, we're with you. Yes, teacher, we're with you. But if you approach it in that way, some would say that's being intellectually dishonest, that are apologists for the faith. Apologist is basically someone who defends their position as a believer that the reality of Jesus Christ being Lord is true. But if you approach it from that way, an apologist might say that you're being dishonest because everybody deep down knows that there is a God. We'll touch on that later. But I still think that there is a degree of honesty to a person who say they don't know. So when you navigate life, I think eventually you'll find that there's a degree of difficulty to it, and there is some harsh realities to this life. Depending on your cards, depending on the cards that you were dealt. But I think everybody encounters a point where they are faced with this question about reality and where we came from and how we exist and how consistent our reality seems to be. We're just driving some points home, and we're building our case. We're building our case. So in saying all that, though, you gotta at least believe in the possibility that God could exist. And once you take that stance, you're then open to what? Evidence? Currently, and I think purposefully, there I don't know. I think that the reality of God is not tangible, meaning you can't detect him with your five senses. So if you're looking for evidence on that level of regard, you will never find God. I just wanted to preface and say that. But the agnostic position, if you stand there and you're not sure, you have to be moved on what's called faith. Everyone who believes in God has what's called faith, because his reality and experiencing him is not going to be tangible. It can be, but it's not initially. And when you come to God, for the most part, unless there are miracles outside of our scape of things, the reality of God is not tangible. You can't touch him, you can't feel him, you can't see him, you can't experience him with your five senses, which is the way that we navigate life, and everything is revealed to us, correlating with your mind. Now, what's the reality of God, to sum it up, is that God cannot be experienced tangibly. You can't reach out and tangibly touch him with your senses. So, usually, people look for evidence of God existing. But I think even if you did kind of have those things that relay that there are gods or beings or something that in the earth that was empirical meaning things that are founded in math and science, using the scientific method, or that can be validated with it, empirical evidence. God, I don't think, can be experienced in that way. And also, even if he could, I don't know if that would make people believe. If this rock or these planets or solar systems or things that God made, these people, these animals, screamed with evidence that there was a God, I still don't think that would make people believe, because there's evidence to the contrary, or AKA faith to the contrary, that says differently. I'm not well versed in it, but I'm sure that the universe, I heard a lot of commentary, like a man by the name of Frank Turek. He has a show on YouTube and on the internet called I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. I think that's what it's called. Now, I think, and he says that the universe in its design points to a creator. And now I'm listening to him, but anyway, you can't experience God in that way. The way you can experience God is through your faith and your life experiences. And also, when you think of things like this was what helps me. I see the smile of a child. I see life and the way it unfolds, and that there seems to be great consequences and rewards for living it in a certain manner, degree, and regard. That lets me know that there's a system of justice and reaping what you sow, or something going on that kind of levels out what goes on and what happens in the earth. When you think thoughts like, where was I at? Where was I at? Go back. Should I go back and explain that? I'll go back and explain that. When you think thoughts give me a moment, please. When you think thoughts, okay, let's go back to this. Empirical evidence. God can't be touched in that way, so you need faith. Faith encompasses, like when you see the smile of a child, when you see the earth in the way it revolves. Let's just say it like that. The way it revolves. It's something within us that screams that there is a creator. And you leave, I'll give you mine. So I think that life has meaning in the foundations of God. The scripture says that the fear of the Lord begins with wisdom is the beginning. How does it go? God dang, I know this normally. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Right. Now, when it comes down to it, right, there being a big explosion, this is one theory, and this is only known because humans came up with it. This may not even be a thing if humans never came up with it. So there's this big explosion, right? And it caused all this order initially from this unknown, uncaused seemingly also explosion. What caused it, for one? And then it's unknown what caused it, and how did all of this order spawn from a chaos without a mind to direct it? And now I'm about to make my case for God. So I think sometimes we can correlate and relate examples to let me turn that on. Overheat. I think to say that the earth and all of creation in its vast array, there's billions of miles, according to scientists, of stars and galaxies and star systems, and it's just all kind of stuff out there according to what they say. So to think that all of this design, all of this order came from chaos is preposterous to me. And I think it's just a closed heart and a closed mind, a dishonest one that doesn't have intellectual integrity to say that there is no God. Now, if you stand on the position that you don't know, that's okay to me. But to say that there isn't one and to live your life according to that is intellectually dishonest, and within your own heart, I think it is. But I digress. I think to say that all of this order, let's think about the order. There's school systems, there's things that we build, there's order in the animal kingdom. They build, they navigate ants, bees. There seems to be an ecosystem where nothing quite devours everything totally and completely to the point where it's disrupted, because we do have an ecosystem where if something gets out of order, it can cause chaos and get out of whack and cause the earth to be destroyed. Like, for instance, we need the light of the sun. What's called photosynthesis and happens in the plant life, so they can grow. They need to be pollinated by the bees. There's so much order in the way this thing works. There's school systems, there's books, there's all writing. There is so much order in design and intent behind what we are experiencing. From what we did, from the order of creation, how the planets are revolving around the sun, as they say, right? And then there's many solar systems, all in this order. How can that come from an unknown, uncaused explosion in the middle of nothing? First of all, there's no example of anything coming from nothing, right? And why is that still not happening? That's my other question. What example do we have of something coming from nothing? And why isn't that still happening? Why isn't stuff just, why did it stop? Why did it stop happening? Or is it still happening according to them? So to say that there is no God, then what is there? Also, what if there is no God? What is there? You think because it's so great and awesome and he's too great of an idea of a being that he can't exist? Well, some ants might look up to you and think that. And you exist. You're very complex. Your DNA strand is miles long from what they say, right? And it's so complex that how can it happen by accident? What is something that's very complex? Let me see. What is something that's very, very complex that I can elaborate on? Okay, this is something I think that is very kind of like complex, that I have a slight knowledge where I can elaborate on. A video game, right? So a video game, first of all, it goes inside a system. It's on a disc. It can be downloaded. It is created in a room of engineers on a computer that go in and they write so many lines of code on how high they want this character to be able to jump. All of this stuff, there's just logic and lines of code that we made up. It's incredibly complex and can be incredibly complex. You got to go to school for years to learn how to do it. And it ain't just no learn this in a couple of days type deal from what I understand. But that, to me, on a scale, is incredibly complex. It's almost like they're gods, or they're God, and they build a video game in their world that they want to create inside it. Similarly to the creator, how I believe he did this world that we currently live in and dwell in reality. I think it's so preposterous to say that this order came from nothing. I think it would be the equivalent, or way worse, to say that, let's say that an explosion happens in somewhere on Earth, and in the debris that it creates a 747 jet, and it just is in all immaculate condition after the explosion. It's clean, it's white. I think it's worse than saying that, to say that there isn't the possibility, or that there isn't a God at all, or that there's no cause, or that there's no purpose behind this, and that all of this order could come from an explosion that you don't know the cause, and it seems it has no purpose, And I'm not buying that you give your own life purpose. I think the foundation that there is a God is the one that you should stand on. And you build from there. You know there's a God when you grasp it, when you grasp a hold of the idea that he could exist. And you're led by it, right? So, if there is a God, you begin to think, who is he? Does he have a will? Right? And the reason that I believe that there's a God is because when I look at the smile of a child, and I consider the Big Bang, and I consider the earth and how I navigated and the things that have happened to me in my life, I would go so far as to say, I know there's a God. Now, that's just my faith launching out. Really, in actuality, I don't know that there's a God. I'm just greatly confident that he does exist. My confidence is through the roof that he does exist. But I stretch that and say I do know, because what you believe, you act it out. So when you act it out, you might as well know it. And if you know anything else, you might as well know that there's a God. Capiche? But when I see the smile of a child, and I see their laugh, and I see their mannerisms, when I see their spirit, and I see their innocence, and I pick them up, and they go, and they fart, and they pee, and they doo-doo, and I see their innocence and the beauty and the majesty and the love that exudes from my soul when I see like my niece or my daughter or anything like that or something like that. I can't bear it, and something in my soul tells me that there's a God. I think that's how he wants us to be led, because if we did have that stuff, I don't think we believe in it anyway. Jesus was healing people from leprosy. Now that's a very ugly, debilitating disease where your hand, I'm sure you can find some pictures of it online. I think it's all but done away with now, except in like horrible places, what, third world countries. I think it's all but done away with it now. But if you can find some pictures on it, it eats your whole, it's like a flesh eating, it look kind of remind you of that flesh eating bacteria stuff that came out not too long ago with them certain types of drugs. Or what, I think that's a thing too. But Jesus was healing people, and they were debilitated. Leprosy, you might be missing your whole hand, limbs rotting off, face falling apart. He healed these people. He raised people from the dead, and they say he has a demon. Right? That's probably like almost in the realm of blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, if you can do that on earth, if it's possible. You said the Son of God has a demon, and that he's doing works that are innately good by the prince and the power of demons. That's what they said. So I don't know if, and we think those people were so primitive, but I don't know if you could see evidence in the earth and design and all that. It's a heart, it's a heart issue. It's an integrity, upright of your heart issue. One thing that I heard Frank Turk say, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist podcast on YouTube. He said, the issue is not whether you have enough evidence to believe in God. It's a heart issue. Because even if you did give that person evidence to suffice their questions, and they are totally realized, and there's total resolve in their mind, they still wouldn't believe. And his question that he posed that gives validation to his stance and his claim is this: if you knew there was a God, or could be proven that there is a God, and that the Bible is true, if the Bible was true, would you do it if you knew it? and they always say no. That tells you the position of their heart. That is what kills them spiritually. Because you remember what I talked about in the beginning of the video? Your integrity, your intellectual honesty, and all of that stuff, that has all to do with your makeup. It's an issue of your heart. We're basically a bunch of hearts. What you say and what you do. If you're not being manipulated, and the reason that you're doing it too. Not just outward. But we're basically just a bunch of hearts. And we're subject to whomever we subject ourselves. Whether it's God or the devil or what person is in your ear and all of that. We're basically a bunch of hearts. You're a heart. You are a heart. And does yours have integrity? That's where the judgment comes from. That's where judgment comes from God. He looks at your heart, and he should judge the hearts of men according to what you have been given. We know that there's a God because you know such and such about your own experience. Mine is the things the miracles I experienced, the signs and the wonders I experienced, but that may be because I'm on another level, and I'm not to brag or to boast. So what you can, according to the scriptures, is let he who boasts boast in them. Not boast in his riches, his wisdom, his honor, but boast that he knows the Lord. I didn't say that enthusiastically enough. You see my heart? You got one too. You can do the same thing. Let the rich not boast in his riches, the wise man is wisdom, or the strong man is strength. But let he who boasts boast in this, that he understands and he knows me, that I, the Lord, exercise judgment, righteousness, and loving kindness throughout the earth. For in these I do delight. You not smart. I'm not smart. It's the Spirit of God. Doing his work. Hello. Not much about to you. You forsake me, Jesus. No way, buddy. But through your own life experiences, I know there's times where I should have died many times. I know where I should have slipped and fell and bust my head probably when I was walking down the steps of the church and slipping and caught myself. I was eating a chicken bone one time, and I said, and then the Spirit of God took control of the back of my throat and launched it out because I serve, honor, and obey him. Now, there's other things that have happened to me that I really don't want to share, that seem to accompany my faith. But when I initially started believing in God, I just wanted there to be a God. I wanted to be a purpose to all of this. What purpose is there to all of this? And if that's your plight and you don't want there to be a purpose, it's cool. That's fine with you. But I want there to be a purpose for all of this. Who can say in their grave that, oh, I really enjoyed that, I had my time? Let's say there is no God, right? And you all go die and there's darkness or whatever there is after this, because I guess there's like some heaven. There is no God, but I guess there's some type of heaven and a paradise after this, even if there is no God. Which is a mindless contradiction, I think, according to logic and how it works. That you would believe in some metaphysical thing like that, but you don't want to credit it with God, but you believe that there's no order, but all of that come from that, mindless contradiction in the way you live your life and the things that you do. That's what I think. But anyway, some people are without reason. I think there are some people that are hard to cooperate with. This is just a side note, that are without reason. And I can't deal with people like that. They are without reason that it don't matter what you explain, no matter how you say it, it don't matter how loving you are, they still will not comply with what you're trying to say. And let's say I'm not right and you're not right, it's just a matter of opinion, there still will be so much conflict with them. That's why I think unity and being on one accord and one army under God's spirit is so important. But anyway, you know, my uncle says that he knows that there's a God because when he had his experience with drug addiction, that he know there was no way he could have got off on it on his own. There's so many people still on that stuff that then prayed. And he made it off, and that is really a hard thing. And he says he know that's how your own experiences tell you that, and your open-heartedness to your experiences. Because if you don't know, how could you be so confident in your position? And I think it's just a really closed mind also when you say that there isn't a God. You don't know what's going on in earth if there's invisible realms. You don't know what's going on in earth now. The mind is such an untangible thing too, to me, and how you think and how your thoughts work. You ever notice that sometimes you seem to space out and you go in this little, maybe like 2-minute like thinking process where you're being led and it just shows you thoughts and visions and stuff in your head. Not like a vision, but like a vision where you like space out and you think certain stuff. Why does that happen? We think we know so much about anatomy, biology, and stuff, and we're so arrogant in the knowledge that we have amassed as humans. You don't know nothing. You don't know. And they say that they know, but they just know how it works, or seemingly how it works. If you know it, and if you are so good at it, won't you make one from scratch? Won't you make a human from scratch, not using anything that God gave you, which he gave you yourself? Make one from scratch. Make a tree from nothing. You can do that now from nothing. Or make a tree. Make a planet. And you do that. This is stuff that helped me. To somebody else, it might be something else. But what else did I want to cover on this video? I like doing stuff like this. How do you know that there's a God? How do we know that there's a God? It's just something about life in reality within itself. What are we? Where did we come from? It's something good going on here, it seems to be. When you see life and women and fellowship and family and fathers and mothers and love and movies and video games, it seems to be something going on here that's very good. When the beach, the black sand, the white sand, the sand, it's something going on this motherfucker, man. And then on the other side of the parallel, there's great evil, there's suffering, there's pain. What's going on? What's causing this? And this, according to the scripture, God says he sits high above heaven and he looks down on the sons of men to see if there are any who seek God, any who perceive. Maybe that's his way of seeing or allowing this stuff to happen, to see if any who seek God, any who perceive. Because at the end of the day, is he not in control? Is he not the grand orchestrator? And what can you can't beat God. You can't beat. So and if he would do what you say and listen to your logic, that would make you God. And why would he do that unless you first listening to him? God will listen to you and he will hear your prayer. But if he does that, why would he do that unless you first listen to him? This creation screams for a God. First of all, there's no wonder, give the finger of intensity. There's no wonder if there's no God that there's chaos. Because there's no, okay, so if there is a God, right, he had to be eternal, right? Because if he wasn't, there would be an infinite regression of what caused this, or what caused a God, that caused a God, that caused a God to be created. Where did that God come from? Where did that God come from? So he would have to be eternal. So if that's the case, if he has to be eternal, and it would be an infinite regression. What was I talking about? I lose my train of thought sometimes. But then I gave y'all the finger and I lost my train of thought. So, but what was I about to say? It was gonna be good too. But let's just keep going. So it'll come back. So God is either eternal or he came from somewhere. Neither one makes sense. But don't nothing make sense if that don't make sense, and I'll tell you why. God either came from somewhere, right? Or he always existed. Those are the two choices that are subject to this reality of how God could exist, at least as far as I know. So if he came from somewhere, that doesn't make sense to me, and it's preposterous, because how could you just come from somewhere? But for the sake of it, if someone can come from somewhere, it'll be God. But I think that one is preposterous. Because when does anything just start, and how can you get something from nothing? Now, neither one makes sense. I'd rather believe that he's eternal because of the infinite regression thing, for one. And then, if he always existed, I don't know how you could not. I don't know how you could always exist. How you could always exist. But the better question might be is, how could you not always exist if you always existed? I like doing stuff like this. But I just think it's so intellectually dishonest to say there is no God. What was my good thing? It'll come back. But how this reality, I think it screams for God. I think it yearns for one. If there is no God, there's no wonder that everything is a chaos, that there's so much chaos. And how do we get order? How do we get order? Right? If there is no God, it's no wonder, because we're just filled with a world full of opinions. And you know what we need? We need one to show us the law. We need one to show us a list of commands of obedience of how to navigate this world and this universe, because if we don't, it's just going to be my opinion versus yours, and we're going to fight about it and kill each other. That's how it works here. So I think that part of reality is just screaming for God, screaming for God. Maybe I can be it, and everybody has to listen to me, or if you don't, I'll probably have some consequences for you if you don't listen to me, and if you do, I'll probably bless you. And if you don't, I'll probably throw you in hell for all eternity, or punish you, or just destroy you, depending on how nice of God I am. What I'm saying is, if there is no God, is there a wonder that there's so much pain and chaos, in my opinion, and we're fighting? And we're trying to get this stuff together with our governments and governing the earth. But we'll never get it if we leave God out of the picture. Because if you leave God out of the picture, what else is left is there that governs the flesh realm? There's only demons and stuff that oppose him. You take him out of the picture, there's just two sides. Either you're with him or you're against him. If you're not with him, you're against him by default. You're his enemy. But there's no wonder. There's no wonder there's so much chaos. It's my opinion versus your opinion. And what humans agree upon anything? What two humans agree upon anything? It's hard to find two men that agree upon anything sometimes, that don't want to argue. You find some that do, but it's just going to be our opinions and we're battling each other. That's how you know there's a God. Think about the reality, if there isn't one, what that means. All of these good things are pointless. You think you're going to be able to say from the grave, oh, I enjoyed that one. Oh, that was a great one. Woo. So let's say there is no God. You think you're going to be able to say from the grave, whoa, that was a good one. Whoa, great and good. Whoa, whoa, that was a good one. It's pointless. Once you live and you dead, it's nothing and it's pointless unless there's some paradise that exists where there is no God. Let's say there is no God, but when you die, there's still a paradise in heaven. How could you get to that point so intellectually dishonest? Heart so corrupt. And I don't mean to be mean, but that is what that is. Let's not sugarcoat this shit. That's what the fuck that is. If you think like that. But I digress. That's what I think. But I give people the benefit of the doubt, and maybe there's something in their head or in their heart that's holding them back. For the scriptures do say, no man could come to me unless the Spirit first draw him nigh. So it don't matter what you know. If the Spirit don't draw you, you can't serve God or Christ anyway. And that's according to his sovereign will and good plan and his love and integrity to do exactly what he said in his word. Anything else can we cover? How do you know that there's a God? What else do I know there's a God? I want there to be a God. It is so exciting, the aspect of God. If he's good. If these things, what the scriptures say is true. Heaven on earth, right? What's heaven? What's the greatest thing we can rate to heaven? Is it not endless celestial sex? Is it not sex and the experience of love? Is that not heaven? I think everybody would agree with that too, though. Those are the best things in life. Love and sex. Who disagrees? Love and sex and pleasure. Well, you can't say pleasure, because that encompasses everything that's pleasing. That could be cocaine. Right. It could be cocaine. So, but I think if people be honest within themselves, they'll say love or sex or some type of unity with family or friends. But I say love and sex. Right, them two best things running, right? We get money? Hell no. You get money for what? What you get money for? So you can spend it on love and sex. So you can get in a gift card, whatever, man. Y'all know what I'm saying. Now, I want there to be a God. Not that I don't know, or believe with great confidence that there's a God. I want there to be a God so bad. Someone to look up to call Father. We, down here on earth, nothing makes me greater than the next man. Bow down to something greater than yourself, bitch. Tupac said that in one of his songs, bow down to something greater than yourself, Trick. I want there to be something greater than myself, Trick. I don't want to be God. I'm going to tell you like my nigga I Still Smoke said from Louisiana, I just want to be his son. It's God, man. And I know it. And I love it. And ain't nothing above him. And I do anything. I do anything. I do anything. I pray. Thank you, Lord God, the Almighty, the infinite creator, ruler, the rock, the ruler, the judge and the king, Adonai, El Elyon, the Most High, the completely self-existent God. By yourself alone you are God. By yourself you did it. No help in your endeavor. You rule always, and you can make it last. And you can make it last forever. Thank you for your reality. Thank you for your existence. Thank you that you are good. Thank you that you are God. Thank you that you're almighty. Thank you that your power is supreme and your rule is eternal, and in your nature you are good. Praise break. Satisfied. In a no. Nope, it's going on forever. It must be an eternal. You know how the movies like Thor, where Hulk couldn't pick up his hammer, but that's real. Y'all don't think that's real? That's real. Stuff like that real. But God got angels with 6 wings, with 2 they cover their face, with 2 they cover their feet, with 2 they fly, and they never stop saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts, the one who is, the one who was, and who always will be." Who is to come. I kind of messed that up a little bit. But, Bert, you think that we can create something like that on TV, but God can't do it? Man, God is so... The earth, look how he holding up the earth. They say that he do so many miracles that he never stopped doing. And there's just constant praise. Wow, God, thank you, oh God. Oh man, my God, you know. The angels, bro, they probably like a 99 realms of praise. And then one on, they probably dun dun, doom, 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 dun 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 dun, doom, 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 doom. It ain't just nothing but super hyperbolic praise going on from the end of the days until now. But I want to get in there, man. Doom, 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 John, 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 Ju, 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 Ju. Praising the Lord. Bro, them stuff in the movies don't compare to what the Almighty, Infinite Creator God is. X-Men, Wolverine, Deadpool, Thanos. My God, real bitch. And he way colder than all y'all. Even if y'all was real, y'all lose. Maybe not the one above all. Who is that? That's the God of the Marvel Universe. You think I could be him? If he were real? I don't know that nigga wrong. He ruled over all the Marvel characters. Okay, we're getting a little overzealous. We're getting a little overzealous. I enjoy making this video. This is my therapy. I gotta keep making YouTube videos. This is good for me. This is good for me. Yeah, I'm gonna take some pictures. Commemorate this wonderful day. Ah ha ha. Hee ah ha 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 ha. Oh, holy moly donut shop. Hey, what else can I say? Man, I want there to be a God so bad so I can love him. Bro, why don't nobody listen to God? Why didn't none of the children of Israel listen? But they got signs. Give me a sign and a wonder. I listen to that motherfucker. Cloud by day and a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Plagues, firstborn, night, darkness, frogs, locusts, Red Sea. Y'all remember that movie called The Emperor's Got, what was it? The Emperor's Got a New Groove or something? What was that Disney movie called where Moses was in it with his brother Aaron? And what was that movie called? It was like Exodus and Moses leading the people. It was a Disney movie though. Where I seen one part where God was in the cave talking through the little blue fire. They said, who gave man? But I always wanted to be like Moses, man. I wanted to be like that, man. When I seen that shit lit my spirit up, man. And I love God. And I be cussing. But don't judge me. Because I judge you back. And my judges is most harsh than you. But I'm crazy. For God. And I love him. But I wanted to be a God. Dad, what's that? Is you real? Maybe, baby. Maybe, baby, we can hook up to the movies. My brother made that song. My mama sung it when we were young. Baby, baby, we can hook up. You like that song? Yeah. Can I have a Tesla truck? What? I like no ugly truck. I need a little bit of money before I want to get one of them. A Tesla truck? Yeah. I ain't gonna buy one of them unless I like got millions of dollars. Not just one either. I need like 20 million to buy one of them ugly trucks. I want one though. I want an X62. Can I have one? Oh, what? I need a girlfriend too. Bad. And a wife. At the same time? Yeah. The girlfriend and the wife technically don't have to be the same person. What? I'm just kidding. I want the most romantic fairy tale story ever to exist for me. Where you lame? Where I'm wrong. I don't care what niggas think. They can watch the video and get some game too. This is mostly intended for the glory of man, which is woman. Trying to get us back. Yeah, you a simp. I'm a simp. I'm a simp, huh? But this is what it's intended for. I think them niggas like mediocre tutorials and all them dudes, I think they out of line. Because I've mentioned this in another video, where women, if they perish, I think we should get some of their punishment. They don't know about the authority in there, and then it was given to man, and they're to submit to us. I just say they got to throw that in there real quick. You simping. I think those podcasts that be dogging, and they always seem to get stupid women on them. Well, I know some women from my church. I don't think they're going for that. The church that I used to go to, that I don't think they're going for that, and they'll answer those questions more intelligently than that. It seems like they don't. Maybe I'm not being fair because I don't watch them like that, but it seems like it ain't nothing but a bunch of dumb girls on them. The ask the stupid heads all the questions. And it ain't gonna be no resolve to that. They're gonna leave with the same positions that they had before they left. And that nobody is just a bunch of rubbish being spoken to nobody's aid and love in the building up of no kingdom. We deserve the punishment of part, not all of it, because it's their choice, but we deserve part of the punishment for what happens to them on a hell scope or punishment or torment scope in this life, because we're responsible for them. When the manager is out of town, you let the store go crazy if you're the store manager, and the general manager ain't there. He ain't gonna come ask the workers what's going on. He gonna ask you, man. He gonna ask you what's going on. But anyway, I digress. Let me end the video. But I want there to be a God so bad. You wanna dance with your father? You wanna dance with him? Dance with my father, man. You think it ain't no God? Dance with my father. Fantasy. Breaking. I'm gonna do some freaky ass shit on this planet. Ain't no God, huh? And everything in earth sang. What was that scripture at the Revelation where it say they all bowed down and sang, "Glory to the Lamb, into Jerusalem." What? Oh, what? No, I don't want that. Glory to the Lamb, into him who sits on the throne, because by their great power they reign, and they have George the Beast and the harlot in the earth, or something like that. And they sang everything that exists, song of God. Bro, I want this mighty God to be real so bad you get crowns of glory. Bro, you probably could play in all kind of realms and where you think the video game fight, where you can play and do it. Man, God is so lit. I think all these movies is something. But anyway, let me not make my video too long. Glory to God. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. I appreciate my 8 viewers, my 13 viewers, or how many viewers I get. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next time. Your mind is your crown. You already got it on.